Hello folks, and welcome to my first ever live stream. I'm your beef boy, Willy Boo Boo Websterino, and we're going to get started in about 10 minutes. Just going to wait for some of you to roll in, see who can show up, see who can do their own dealio, dealy bits if you will. And then we're going to have a little bit of a hangout, talk about some movies that I've seen over this course of this fucking crazy blockbuster season that I've been engaging in, and also just, talk about anything you want to talk about as well. A lot of you have been commenting about individual movies and about movies that you've recommended to me maybe, and some other stuff, believe it or not, outside of the action blockbuster genre that is so predominant at the moment. How's that sound to you? Sound good? Alright, keep cute. So the first movie that I would think we're going to talk about is one that you might not actually expect, and it's one that has been on my radar for a while because it reminds me very strongly of the Simpsons episode, but you'll know what I mean when I play the trailer for it. So let me know what you think.
The Templetons were making plans for their newest addition.
What the damn?
Meet your new
brother. But this baby has other plans.
We babies are having a crisis. Babies aren't getting as much love as we used to.
I'm sorry, I've just managed to talk for like a minute without putting the audio on, which is fucking fantastic. I've got two viewers. I think the stream is going really badly because the it just keeps on like dropping streams and shit. So I'm not a streaming engineer. I have no idea how this stuff works. I'm just trying to sort that shit out at the Momo. Yo.
Let me try watching it on my phone.
Well, yeah, that's it. Add more straight to the Wi-Fi. That sounds like a classic idea. That sounds like a really good shout.
Okay, I'll show it on mobile data.
It's really nice to talk about the Boss Baby in the context of this because I'm doing this so incapably. It really makes perfect sense. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
You're gonna live stream it on mobile data. That's love. Someone doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, well, I'm also at 80% data as well.
Dangerous woman. I've got myself a little treat. I hope you don't mind if I just sit and eat an ice cream. It's extremely hot in the UK at the moment.
You know what? It is streaming.
Is it streaming okay? How's the quality?
It's streaming fine. Give it a little thumbs up, get the ball rolling.
Oh yeah. Well. Yeah. So, which of you watched The Boss Baby? Because it was on my list, right? The moment I saw the trailer and I thought, wow, The Boss Baby. That looks like a film that exists. And I could watch it in a room with other people. But the thing that it really struck me about it was that there's an episode of The Simpsons that pretty much predates Boss Baby by about 20 years that predicts the plot almost exactly. And that's an episode, it's one with Max Power, you know, where Homer has a character called Max Power. it's from the episode where Homer has a TV show where it's like cops and stuff. It's called Police Cops. And there's a like hardcore character in it called Homer Simpson. And then after one episode, they retool it and he's a dummy. And Homer changes his name to Max Power. That episode it's a classic. It's really funny. But in the whole setup of that is they're watching like early, like mid-season replacement shows for the ones that have been cancelled. And basically, the Boss Baby is predicted by that show because one of the shows is called Admiral Baby, right? And Admiral Baby is literally a baby who's become an admiral in the US Navy. And Marge is like, I struggle to understand exactly how it could be the case that he could have gone to that rank in the Navy at such a young age. So that was my question watching the trailer for Boss Baby. I was thinking, number one, what's he boss of? All right? Big Q. It's a big question. You didn't watch it.
Did they actually tell you what he was a boss of?
Yeah, he's not even like a major boss. Basically, he's the head of Baby Co, right? Baby Corps, which is like the people who sell babies. But they don't really sell them for money, so I was kind of confused about their company structure. It seems to be a not-for-profit organisation, right? And basically, it's like Baby Co gives babies to people. So instead of like stalks and stuff, it's like they're putting out a mass baby like sale thing. It's confusing, that first of all, but it does explain how he got to where he is at a young age. Because basically, they take you in when you've just been born. So it's before you're born, I guess. When your soul, it all starts in heaven, and that's where Baby Co is. Is any of this making sense? It's really confusing as a film. So, about halfway through, so the rough plot of the movie is that Alec Baldwin plays a talkative baby who's a super genius, who is the new arrival in the life of this little boy who's fucking instantly forgettable. And he's trying to like stop Puppy Co, which makes all the puppies in the world, from overtaking the cuteness because there's only a finite amount of love to go around, which is kind of a depressing thing. I mean, like fundamentally. But I'm getting some sort of chat from YouTube's like, please do your job properly, Will. Give me 200 moments. But yeah, so what happens is that Alec Baldwin's kind of like trying to get the kid on side so he can help him stop the puppies from taking over the world. Classic story of everyday folk. And basically, they go to heaven to spy on Baby Co to find out what's going on via drinking a milk that has like a hallucinogenic property, so they can take like a spirit trip out of their bodies. And they're all sitting there like sucking it deeper and deeper. And like, he's saying that over and over again, like harder, deeper. And then they like come out of their bodies and go into heaven. And he meets we see Big Boss Baby, who's the baby above him in the management structure of Baby Co. And how is that? Is that good?
Have a bite. It's alright.
Very good.
Back to Boss Baby.
Back to Boss Baby. Basically, what happens is that when they're in there, you get a little bit more of an insight into the corporate structure of Baby Co, which basically is a little confusing. But everyone's who's a manager is actually a Boss Baby. So the Boss Baby, who's the main character, is just one of many Boss Babies. Then there's Big Boss Baby, and then in the history of the organisation, the biggest winner is super colossal big fat Boss Baby, who's a character confusingly played by Steve Buscemi, who's like arguably one of the most skinny major American actors, right? So, yeah, I gotta be honest with you, I watched the movie and I found it deeply confusing, a little frustrating, and what confused me most was not the theological aspects of the film, but ultimately the management structure of Baby Co in general. So that was my take on Boss Baby. I mean, I don't know. Are any of you? Is this coming through to you correctly? Can you hear what's going on? If I send you some emojis, will tell me. Do I think Boss Baby was good? No, I think it was poop. How's that? Oh, you said, "Oh, thanks for the thing." Oh, hi, Addy. Lag is deeply severe, Addy. It's Well, you can all watch it once it's finished. That makes perfect sense, right?
Does it get put up once it's done?
Yeah, it does.
You should probably make it more interesting for the people that will be watching the whole way through then.
I'm just trying to work shit out. It's real hard. I'm gonna get Addy. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you a big smiley blob face. Thank you. So yeah, in when I saw Boss Baby, I was taken aback by just how, I guess, like audience friendly the movie was. I saw it in an audience of 4, one of whom was a child. The rest of us were adults. Me and this other woman were on their own. And kind of I look at her like, what are we doing here? Like, what's this for? Why are you in this space? I know why I'm here. It's morbid curiosity, but what's for you? She didn't give me a satisfactory answer because the whole chat happened in my head. But it was an interesting room to be in. And, you know, I can see why that would please a group of kids. I've been thinking a lot recently about how do we, when I say like I'm an audience-focused critic and I want to see what an audience makes of a film, how do we cash that out if the film is for an audience that basically doesn't know what they like, so like for children? Because I don't want to say that every movie that is fine for its audience is good, because, you know, some people are pigs and pigs like to eat shit, right? So what's the worth of a film if it's just for an audience? I feel like with a kids movie, a really good way of working that out is that a story that the kids will take into their hearts, that will inspire them, that will become part of their imaginative play? Boss Baby already has that imaginative aspect to it because it's, you know, what if babies could speak? It's quite like a kid-focused idea. But I think a lot of what it spends its time on is more for adults than for anything else. Like, what's a kid's knowledge of management structure in an American organisation? Like, why is that comedy in the film? Why is that 20 minutes of comedy in the movie? And I don't think it really pans out. If you just... I got a little tweet! Oh my god, I got a tweet! This is my version of, you know, on Twitch, when they show shit off on the camera? Well, that's me. I mean, I tried to... Oh, good. Okay. Went really well. So yeah, like, ultimately for me, Boss Baby, it doesn't have that imaginative structure to it, so it won't inspire the children who watch it. Does that mean it's a bad film? Not really. Does it have any kind of, like, worth in its own right? Not massively either. So, with great joy, I'm going to say that's enough about Boss Baby. Let's move on to another film that was a much more audience-focused picture, in a way, that was a pleasant surprise to me, ultimately, to see it in the cinemas.
Time to get lit. They're still on us. These guys are taking this personal.
You were only supposed to create a diversion, Roman.
That was complete destruction. What you want from me? I'm Roman Pierce, man. It's what I do. Phase 2. Phase 2? What's phase 2? Bombs away. Holy shit.
You know what I like about you, Dom? You're a genuine outlaw, but you're family.
A hell of a job, brother. When we get back to the base, beer's on me.
He's about to go up against the only thing they can't handle. You. Did you ever think you'd betray your family the way you did today?
Dominic Toretto just turned on us.
Well. You look at that.
I don't know why he's doing this, but that wasn't Dom.
She's the very definition of high-tech terrorism. And now, she's working with your guy.
I think I found my team.
This should be interesting.
on us. These guys are taking this personal.
You were only supposed to create a diversion, Roman.
That was complete destruction. What you want from me? I'm Roman Pierce, man. It's what I do.
Forgot to start my mic again. Oh god. So I got my little knee just lower down here. This is really ramshackle, but I hope you're enjoying kind of the experience of discovering.
Authenticity it sells, right?
This isn't actually my house. This is like a big studio that I rented for this with all that sweet Disney money. No wait, DC shill money. DC paid me to talk about those movies and say they were good. That's the confession you wanted, right? They paid me all that money to be in my mum's house. Fantastic. Fucking great. So, the Fate of the Furious was kind of weird because the escalation is so high. It really is quite an astonishing series that it's gone from stealing DVD players and like street racing to like being chased by Russian subs in the climax of the film. Sorry, whoopsie, oopsie, doopsie. If you've seen the trailer, you should understand that's the climax of the movie, right? And that said, you know, like for me, it was the right side of an audience-focused film because it just wanted to please the people who like those movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then the movie wasn't like offensively, wasn't offensive. It wasn't unwatchable. There's some rough edges on it. But one thing that was really exciting to me was that it's actually got a really diverse cast. You got 2 black dudes in the main cast. You got a Samoan American guy. You got Vin Diesel, who is a force unto himself. You got Michelle Rodriguez, a Latino lesbian woman. Like it's a really diverse main cast, and in that sense, it sort of reflects it reflects the makeup of the audiences that watch those films, and I think that's a really lovely thing. I just think that's a solid idea for any franchise worth its salt to be able to do, and I think that's one reason why they've been so successful over such a long period of time, and probably also the reason why they're successful internationally as well. It's a solid dealio. I'm getting some chat that it's a little choppy on the stream. I can only apologise for that. There's not much I can do apart from maybe just getting a new Wi-Fi system, which might have to happen in time for the next stream.
You can stream from mine next time.
Oh, so supportive. Yeah, I could stream, but then I've got to have the computer and all that shit. And also, how fast is your computer?
Not very.
Yeah, it can. This shit is getting exciting. I promise you that. But yeah, so you know, for me, Fate of the Furious was an interesting watch and a bit of a strange experience in cinema because I'm not used to being in a cinema with so many young people. I actually went on a Friday during half term, which was really nice because it meant that there were people who were actually in the audience, the general audience, not just like old people. Usually I go to cinema in the middle of the day and it's just like 2 people, me and 1 old lady, no matter what the movie is. When that's okay, but it means that I lose a bit of the visceral thrill of seeing a live a movie with a live audience that the film is aimed at. But yeah, there was a group of teenage boys just like shouting and kind of like rustling popcorn and shit, which for me in this movie was ideal, fundamentally. There's also a guy and his kid, his son, which was really nice because I feel like that's another audience that might watch these movies. My dad hates this kind of shit and would never ever take me to go see it, not because he doesn't like them really, but because he's a snob. So that's a totally different deal. But it was kind of touching to see that stuff happening in the audience. I feel like we're not getting enough. Not getting enough. Only 2 people watching. That's not great. What we really need to do is whack it up a bit, right? And this is why I think we should change the focus of what we've got. Right. Fuck movie reviews, because who needs movie reviews, right? Movie reviews are for snobs. They're for people who have a stick up their arse, or more like a 2x4, to quote one of my commenters today. It's for cucks with low standards, to quote another commenter. And, you know, like, it's for people who are Sprogs who've never voted who have weak beards, to quote another comment that I got recently.
Really?
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you about this. This guy was like, you are a child who cannot grow a full beard and you don't understand Ridley Scott's vision for the Alien universe. And it was weird because he was like, yeah, Ridley Scott is obviously inspired by the Dark Horse comics. And I'm like, those comics haven't had a plot until 2014, which is the year after the film you're saying was inspired by them. So I'm like, it seems to me, dude, bro, pal, granddad, that you don't actually know about these movies really that well. But he had a mate who was a ship VFX designer on the Prometheus, and he felt that qualified him to talk about it, more so than me. I mean, that's... maybe. But anyway, look, movie reviews are for lame-ass dolts. Not for us, alright? We're all about the new here. We're all about Fidget Spinner Live. That's what we've got to have. Yes, Fidget Spinner Live.
Give me a rating out of 10. Is this as funny as you thought it would be?
It's not. It's not as funny as I thought it would be. For one thing, oh, that's a really nice visual effect on the camera. Guys, please click subscribe. I'm desperate. Please click subscribe. Is this joke getting anywhere? Is anyone getting on for this?
I've got one viewer. What are they saying?
A single viewer. It's probably Addy. To be fair. Hi, Addy. Hope you're still... This slowly spinning out is really a sign of what's happening to this stream as well.
I think it's your Wi-Fi.
Quietly. There we go. That's what I wanted. Fidget Spin Live, folks. Please, please subscribe. I am desperate.
You got a viewer.
I am fucking desperate. Please subscribe. We need more fidget spinning on a daily basis. I do sick tricks. If anyone wants to talk about vaping as well, that's an option. I've never done it, but I believe it takes place in the fidget spin community, which I'm definitely a part of, by the way. And you can... How fucking 2017 is this? I got my Simpsons Wave t-shirt on as well. Fidget Spin Live! How's that as an image?
Back to one.
Fuck. I feel like people didn't... I don't think people tuned in for Fidget Spin Live. Do you know what I mean? I think they tuned in for movie chat.
I think they did. Try talking about movies. What's next on the list?
You saying stop the fidget spinning?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Well, the next one on the list, we've got a choice, alright? What's for you? Do you want, like, undead thing that just won't go away and it's kind of like a story that's been told over and over again? Or do you want the mummy?
Tough choice.
Do you like this tiny little peck of hair just here?
Yeah, I do.
That's really nice. Like little rascals. Okay, fine, well, fuck it, we'll talk about the mummy. I ain't angry.
Get down! Go, go, go! Oh, man, we're gonna die! What the hell?
Whatever's in there.
Sorry for fucking that up.
Get down! Go, go, go! Oh, man, we're gonna die! What the hell?
Whatever's in there. It's been safely hidden for 2,000 years. This isn't a tomb. It's a prison. Nick! The hieroglyph said she was named Amenet, chosen to be Egypt's next queen. But her thirst for power led her down a darker path, one that had to be stopped.
Because of your actions, this ancient power has returned. You are alive because you were chosen.
Chosen? By what?
Evil. The ultimate evil.
Legend has it she's a being of unimaginable powers. Now she's using you to regain them.
Oh my God.
She will not stop until she has remade our world into her own.
Just stay with me.
I'm scared.
I'm gonna figure this out.
Don't leave me.
You can't run. You can't escape. She's got plans for you.
Wow, The Mummy. What a program. Do you like this like ghosty fidget spinner? It's like... No, I mean the little text just on the screen.
Fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Just very quiet.
That's really that's so cute. I can't believe we did that together. Look at this music coming in as well. I'm screwing this up big time. Look, guys, that was the trailer for The Mummy, which is a film that I weirdly was looking forward to. So, like, every year I make a list of blockbusters that I'm going to go see, and most of the time I don't actually go see them all. So this year is a real...
This year,
please give me more work.
you've got Odeon Unlimited.
Odeon Limitless.
Not Spawn.
Hashtag non-spawn. Please spawn us. I would do that. I
mean, you don't have Cineworld. They've got Unlimited.
Yeah, Cinema's got Unlimited. I mean, they've all started doing similar stuff like that. Like, Odeon started doing this screen unseen thing, which is really cool. That has been done by indie cinemas for years, and they finally decided it's a good idea.
So what's that?
The screen. That's why I need you. Keep spinning. Gotta get those youths in. Fidget spinner. Yeah, like so. Fidget Spinner Live is all about Odeon Limitless, and Odeon Limitless is like basically where you can go to as many screenings as you want to, and you really do get some incredible shit. And they give you some like discounts and things like that as well. And they have some special competitions and early screenings and stuff. So, you know, getting off track a little bit, I basically make this list of all the blockbusters I'm going to go see. And on them, I kind of try to be like, which one of these are interesting, which ones am I really interested in actually seeing, which ones are going to be shit, and which ones are going to be maybe better than expected. Because I think the real worth of a cinematic experience like a blockbuster is the ones that are unexpectedly good, in a sense. So, for me, I had two on that list. One of them was King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which was bash. Absolute bash. Terrible film. Really stunningly poor. Possibly worth a review in its own right, but I'd hesitate to watch it ever again.
But surely you could tell that from the trailer already. The trailer
Not
was
necessarily.
not good.
I mean, but I think that sometimes you can just have a bad trailer for an idea that is otherwise quite good. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be like a bad movie just because it has a bad trailer. Because converse is true for sure. Like that you have really great trailers for movies that pretty much suck. And then with comedy, you got that thing where like you have a great trailer for a comedy, and then they put out usually about 3 trailers for a movie over the course of its runtime. And if it's got the same joke in each trailers, then you're like, uh-oh.
That's the only good one.
Yeah, that's all you got. Like Men in Black 2. Have you seen that?
No.
Men in Black 2, he's driving this like car, and they have like a way to get to the carpool lane. We have like an inflatable agent who sits next to you, and it's a white agent. And Will Smith's like, hey, why is he white? And he's like, we tried to have a black guy, but he kept on getting pulled over. That's a good joke, and kind of on the nose for a family blockbuster, right? But like, it was in every trailer, and by the time it came out, it was just like crickets in the cinema. Like, we should make a tumbleweed for the next one. Fidget spinner, live, tumbleweed dish. Isn't a tumbleweed the original fidget spinner? This So,
Just
the mummy was on my list. Otherwise, I'm gonna pick some hair in my mouth for a sec on screen.
That's real nice.
Look, it's not having hair in your mouth is not nice. I hope the people will forgive me. The people at home, all 2 of them. But hey guys, hey look, if you didn't like the hair put out of my mouth moment, let me know in the comments down below. Do you love hair in mouth moments? No! Oh god! Alright, so real talk, I hotkeyed all of the trailers to my keyboard, so I can't type without queuing up trailers, except that it won't actually do it when I want them to. Thanks OBS, thanks Mac. All streaming technology is aimed at people using PCs because of gaming. Hey, Obama's way out, dude. No one's saying thanks Trump, are they? No, for good reason. So The Mummy was second on my list of like things that might actually turn out to be quite interesting. What do you know about The Mummy?
Nothing at all. It's about a mummy, I'm guessing.
What's a mummy to you?
Egyptian mummified remains.
Yeah, so the original Mummy film is basically like a bunch of archaeologists go into the pyramids and accidentally free the mummy, and then it wobbles around, kind of killing them off. I've never been that fond of mummies as villains. I think they're sort of, as physical threats, they're pretty shit, because they're really slow moving, and they're literally just old dudes who've been stuck in a pyramid for 2,000 years, you know?
I'd be pissed.
Turn on a torch, that'll freak them out.
Yeah.
They've
never seen that before.
So,
They've seen fire, that's it.
You know, like, there is another thing, which is like the horror of the, Good. Thanks, Addy. The good thing about the mummy as a character is that you can have these moments where it's like, holy shit, this thing's been alive for like 3,000 years and it's pissed. I think that's a really cool character motivation. I think it can work. So there was the Mummy movie, the original one, which had Boris Karloff in it, I think, and then it went through like 4 or 5 of them on the original Universal Monsters thing. So it used to be that horrors weren't really scary; they just had like scarifying characters in them.
Yeah.
You had movies like The Invisible Man, the werewolf movies, which was The Wolfman, and then you've got like Frankenstein. It's all the Frankenstein pictures, and there were Dracula movies as well. These were all made in the 30s to the late 40s. And they even had their own like so they were like the original expanded universe, if you want, with like Marvel has now, because they sort of crossed over. They had like Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman, which Abbott and Costello were like a double act, yeah. So they were kind of cute, and then they did a remake in the 90s with Brendan Fraser. Have you seen that? Fuck, that movie is
seen nothing.
Absolutely amazing. If you just sit and watch ITV2 like for like forever,
see 'em all.
It shows up. It's on the regular rotation. So basically that's the same kind of rough plot. So this guy accidentally wakes up a mummy, and then he comes back to London, and it sort of chases him back and causes all this havoc and stuff, right? Then there's The Mummy Returns, which is the same thing, but with flesh-eating pygmy ninja people. Okay. Wish that wasn't true, but it is.
I don't know if you're lying or not.
After that, they launched an amazing animated show, The Mummy, the animated series, where the little boy who's in like the secondary character in the second film, who's their kid, the main guy and his love interest, gets like this superpower bracelet from the Mummy era, like attached to him, and he has to go around like trying to get it off and like using his powers and shit. And I was that boy, right? I was that boy with the magic bracelet. So I loved it. I thought it was really good. There was a real golden age of like animated adaptations of big budget movies at this point, because like Godzilla, the noughties Godzilla, you seen that?
No.
It's fucking shit. Don't watch it. But it had a really good animated series that was much better than the film. So there was kind of a golden age to that stuff. Then they had The Mummy 3, which I never saw, which is got Jet Li in it. It's Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, and I think it had just fucking gone way off the rails by then. So they cancelled that shit, and they're going to start rebooting it and having a thanks Mallow Squisher. I'm super low on the bitrate anyway at the moment. The real problem is that the upload speeds in my area aren't great, and 100 is probably a bit low. The bit rates aren't fantastic. The Wi-Fi in my area is not fab, and it occasionally can be very choppy on upload. A lot of our video content has to be uploaded like a day in advance, because we just can't trust that it will be up in time for standard releases. But thanks for the shout. I just loaded it down to 1,000 from where it was. So, you know, what you had with the Brendan Fraser movies, I guess, was a sense of fun. But then they were like, right, big cinematic universe is coming back. Let's, you know, use the original cinematic universe, as it were, in theory, these movies, and kind of make a new one out of it. And they did it in a really bad way, right? So when Marvel started doing the cinematic universes, they were making movies and they were just like slowly building it up, just like one character at a time. Now what's happened is people start being like, yeah, we're going to have like a cinematic universe, and it's going to be amazing, and they announced that before they make even the first film. And it is hubris, right? It is very bad. And even that will happen to Marvel one day, because all things crumble and turn into ash, Marvel fanboys. I promise you, all things crumble and turn into ash eventually. Sobering note there. Let's get the fidget spinner back up. Let's get the fidget spinning up. Fidget spinner live, folks. Woo! Please subscribe. I am desperate for subscribers. I need that shit in my liquid lifestyle. So, you know, what we had with this Dark Universe launch was that they did a trailer for the logo, basically. They were like, the Dark Universe, and it's like this big, like, dramatic Dark Universe title, and it's got, like, Hans Zimmer did the music for that intro to that logo.
Oh my god, okay.
And then they released a press photo, which was like, Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem, Tom Cruise.
Mm.
It's like your favourite's problematic, the lineup. And then it was, and then Russell Crowe as well. And that's kind of like the people they're building it around.
Yeah.
So they started off being like, right, we're going to release The Mummy and this is going to be our new cinematic universe. Now the weird thing about it as well is that this is actually their second punt at it. Because they did a movie called Dracula Untold, which came out a couple of years before. And that was supposed to be the start of the cinematic universe. Because they watched it and they're like, this is pretty good. I think this is going to be a solid like movie to launch the cinematic universe off. The audiences disagreed. It did not do well. It's fine. It's not that bad a movie. It's better than The Mummy, but it just didn't pan out too hot. So they basically rebooted again before they even kicked off the cinematic universe. Then they got the Dark Universe going. Unfortunately, the people who are planning it for them are two of the worst writers in history, which is Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orci, who are famous for shitting on beloved franchises when they're rebooted. Like, infamous for it, and they cannot resolve a film. They just fucking can't. Their real favourite thing, like their fine wine, you know, the real thing that separates them out is that they love to have like a 20-minute section of the film that isn't fucking relevant to anything else in the movie. And you're watching it like, oh, I came to see this film, right? Just not like a 20-minute film you wanted to whack in the middle of it. Makes no sense. So they've been like, yeah, we're going to have an Invisible Man movie with Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man. For which enthusiasm is muted, I think. We're going to have Javier Bardem as Frankenstein's monster.
Alright.
I could go for that. I think he'd be a good shout for that. I think he's a good actor. And also that's directed by the guy who did Beauty and the Beast, so he's a bit of a steady hand.
Yeah.
But he also directed an independent drama called Gods and Monsters back in the 90s that made him really famous. That's a biopic of the guy who directed Frankenstein. So he sort of knows the subject quite well. I like him a lot, Bill Condon. He's underrated, I think, in modern films. So then this idea is fucking tanked because The Mummy as a movie just didn't work. Fundamentally, it's Tom Cruise doing the plot of the Brendan Fraser one. It's supposed to have like added horror elements, but you can tell at some point people in the production decided that wasn't what they were going to do. So he has a best friend character who dies about 20 minutes in. Spoilers for this awful film. He dies about 20 minutes in and then comes back as a zombie and kind of these visions. But they cast a comedy actor to play him and give him all this like kind of mumblecore-y type dialogue. And then you're watching it like, what the fuck? It feels like two different drafts of the film fighting each other for dominance all the time. Because every now and again it does do a horror section with the mummy and it's really good. So she's like fast mummy. Because then it gets rid of the whole like shitty, like mumbling. Yeah, exactly. Well, of course, the best Mummy film is the one that they did for the Goosebumps series. What was that called? The Mummy Returns. The Return of the Mummy. It's the one you didn't watch. It has really good. It has a really good Egyptian pyramid set, like a corridor leading into a room, but it's the only set they have.
Yeah. So
they just keep showing that set from different angles, and you're like, it's Doctor Who rules, you know, when you have to shoot the same corridor like 5 times over from different shots. But yeah, so The Mummy just didn't pan out as a movie. It really doesn't make any sense, and it really feels like almost like it was written for people who don't speak English as a first language. Like it.
So you think that maybe it was made for other?
Well, it's made a fuck ton of money in other territories, and it's weird because a similar thing happened with. Your boy Terminator Genesis, which is on Netflix currently. I don't recommend you watch it without having had a couple of beers. But that movie really felt like it was exposition heavy, and it turns out it did massively well in China. Like they loved it. Well enough that they decided it wasn't a complete flop, not that they then went and made another series. And that's one where they were like, this is a reboot of the Terminator thing. We're going to do 3 movies in this series. And everyone watched that and resoundingly went, no, we're not really interested in seeing the rest of those, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of this weird hubris thing that's going on at the moment. And as we get halfway through Blockbuster season, it's the name of this live stream. So.
Addie's got some chat for you.
Oh. That's a really interesting shout. So Addy's saying that one thing that he's noticed is that franchises in cinematic universe that have their roots in a pre-Twitter age, like 2009, are fine. With everything that's new, basically a new potential franchise, tanking, apart from Lego and 21 Jump Street. And it's interesting because both of those were obviously supposed to be one-shots that actually panned out really well.
Jump Street is great.
Yeah, it's a really good... And the sequel's good too. And it's great because they're now sort of stopping with that. Because someone floated at one point, and it got to the point when it was kind of okayed, a Men in Black Jump Street crossover. Which is like, why? What the fuck is wrong with you?
No one needs that.
But like, who's like, oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah, finally. I don't know who's sitting there being like, can't wait for that. That sounds amazing. So, Addy, I think that's a really interesting point. I wonder why that is the case. I feel like one reason why is because having one cinematic universe that works takes up a huge amount of our real estate in cinemas, right? Like the amount of screening time that there is in a cinema. So if you think about, like, we've got Disney running 2 massive cinematic universes, which is Star Wars, which hasn't tanked, although I don't think it's great as a universe. I think some of the movies are okay. And then obviously you've got the Marvel movies. And, you know, they're putting out 2 movies a year. And that's a huge amount of screen time because they are massive American releases, so they're in the cinemas for 3 weeks or so. And it would just take up a lot of place. Like, imagine if Dark Universe, King Arthur, and Transformers spin-offs all come to be, which I highly doubt. Then we're going to have 6 movies split over the next 5 years for each one of those franchises. That's completely insane. Like, that's a mad amount of movies to fit into the world. And that's one reason why the blockbuster season this year has been so long, because it's fucking lots of movies, you know? Like, we've been going for blockbusters since March, because Logan was like the first proper blockbuster picture. And there's a lot of good movies coming out this year, but...
Put it down to 1,000 again.
Oh, okay. This is so funny. I'm just kind of like guessing what the settings are as I go. Absolutely 100 million%. But yeah, so it's a question that a lot of studio execs should ask themselves, and I suspect they won't. I think probably in the end, we'll get back to someone will be like, I made a film, and I'm not really interested in it having a sequel, and everyone will be like, wow, how original. And then people will be like, well, what we're going to do is ditch the boring cinematic universe idea and have just one movie. And people are like, no way, that's so cool. And then it'll become a thing. So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know. And they do go through these trends. About 10 years ago, the trend was reimaginings, which were like gritty, radical reinterpretations of old properties, and no one liked them, so they stopped. And now we have like soft reboots, where you're like, I'm doing a sequel, but it's actually just exactly the same plot, but without any explanation in it.
Yeah, and you have to believe that it's canon. It's obviously not.
Well, no, like Star Wars does that, where Star Wars is like, we have new people, new settings, but it's exactly the same story, and anything we haven't said has changed. That's all the same still, and you're like, that's one way of seeing things. Yeah, I mean that's a possible thing you could do. And I feel like I've spoken about the Mummy a little bit too long, and I haven't even got to mention the fact that, of course, he thinks that homosexuality is a disease that must be cured. I don't have even. I was not gonna say he specifically believes that, but the people that he is part of definitely believe that. So. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget. And speaking of people with terrible pasts, did you know that Mark Wahlberg once blinded a Vietnamese man in a racially aggravated assault? That's not actually nice, so let's talk about Transformers 5 instead, which he's recently been in. Here's a trailer for that movie.
It has been said, through the ages, without sacrifice,
yeah, I really can't type during these live streams, can I? I'm just going to get rid of some of those hotkeys.
It has been said, Through the ages, without sacrifice, there can be no victory. Two species at war. One flesh, one metal. Optimus Prime has left us. 100 billion trillion planets in the cosmos.
Okay.
You want to know, don't you? Why they keep coming here.
I want to stay, and I want to fight them.
And now, two worlds colliding.
The operation is over.
We're not giving up, okay? Only one survives.
Oh my God. Forgive me.
It's me. It's Will Webb's fidget spin alive. Let's get spinning, Phoebes. I need you to spin. We need all those subscribers, folks. Please. We need so many subs. We're jealous, all right, of all those fidget spinners. We're desperate for it. And hey, look, if after this we're gonna do the after party on Fidget Spinner Live, the streaming app, please get in touch. Like, we're loving it. We're having such a good vibe. We're spinning real fast. How good is this joke on a scale of 1 to 1,000,000? It's like 6. I think 1 is unfair. I think it's at least 6 on that one. I mean, come on. So, as Addy has pointed out to me, Blockbuster season is actually not that discreet anymore, and there really are, like, it's fucking everything all the time. Because Assassin's Creed came out in January, and Beauty and the Beast came out in February. It's... February? Maybe a little bit later. It's just mad. Yeah. Like, it's just a mad thing. And it does mean that you swallow up a lot of time that could be spent on other films, like movies like My Cousin Rachel, or the wonderful Chinese film I Am Not Madame Bovary, and the Handmaiden. I mean, that actually did get a really long run because he showed his director's cut at the same time. He went to the theatrical release, his director's cut.
Okay.
So some places, like art cinemas in London, would show his director's cut, and then other places would show the theatrical. So it really ran on and off for like 2 months, which is great. But I mean, I'm not saying that they serve the same quadrant. So I'm not saying like it's accurate that they are this endless kind of like they're endlessly kicked out of cinemas, because they are put in certain places by their respective agents and stuff. But it does mean that you lose some of those smaller, cooler movies. The other thing is that no one's making those. Like, you're not getting movies that cost 30 million anymore. And a movie like Baby Driver, which is actually relatively low budget for Hollywood, could change something like that if it makes a load of money. You have to cross our little fingers, our little hand pegs, and just wish that's going to change. But talking of movies that are massive and disgusting and take up space, welcome to our discussion of Transformers 5. When did they stop adding numbers to movies as well? Because it makes it really hard to keep track.
Wait, what are we on Fast and Furious now? 8?
Yeah, because it's called The Fate of the Furious.
There was 8 Harry Potters.
So you had the Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, which I love.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking about calling Baby Driver 2, 2 Baby, 2 Driver. There won't be a sequel, it's fine. Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, the least popular one, which is the end point of the chronology, which they then spent the rest of the time filling in for. Fast and Furious 4, which had a subtitle, I think. Fast 5, so just Fast 5 Rio Heist was its name. Fast 6, can't remember. Fast 7, I can't remember either. I think it's called like The Last Something, which it wasn't. And then this one's called The Fate of the Furious, so it's called Fate, as in F8, which is fucking fantastic.
That's so like year 7 email address, you know?
So the whole vibe of Fast and Furious is year 7 email address. Like it is, the whole thing is like, no one leaves family behind. Oh yeah, okay. So the numbering may have stopped with Christian Nolan's Batman trilogy when he also stopped even just calling it Batman, which makes it really hard to search if you're just looking for shit like that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, they're such iconic, fantastic films. Transformers: The Last Knight is our second movie this year about King Arthur-ish. So the movie opens with King Arthur, who's being helped by Merlin, who is a drunk Stanley Tucci, who secretly discovered the Transformers on Earth years before and has a giant robot come and help Arthur and his knights. And the movie doesn't get more coherent from there on out. It has a lead actor called Mark Wahlberg, who is a man who occupies space on screen. And he plays a character called Cade Yeager. Think about those realistic names like Cade Yeager. You're a big fan of that? I might call my kid Yeager. Cade Yeager. What do you reckon? Fidget spin alive, folks. Fidget spin alive. We're doing it. Fidget spin. Come on. Fidget spin alive. We're doing it.
It's not that funny.
Wait. I've got waiting. Yeah, it's so good. Oh my god, Fidget spin alive, folks. Please subscribe. We are desperate.
Basically, whenever the chat starts getting real shit, we'll just do this to bring it back up.
Why are you still talking about it? Trying to talk about films. Yeah, so, you know, Transformers: The Last Knight is a film that almost defies belief. And the best thing about it is that a couple of years ago, Michael Bay was like, these movies aren't easy to make. And hey, if you wanted me to, I could go off and make a quiet drama in a French Riviera. And it'd be so much more, like, popular, but that's not what I'm about. And I'm like, God, I'd love to see your version of that. I'd like to know what that movie would look like. What would you do? How long would it be? Would it be 2.5 hours? How many explosions would be in the movie? Would it have a giant robot in it? It's all stuff that we know him for. I like Michael Bay as a director, actually, I've got to say. As an action director, I think he knows what he's doing in some weird sense. But I only like him when he's very grounded. And I just want to see an action film about people on the street by him. Actually, I can take that all back, because I saw Pain and Gain and it was fucking horrible and I didn't like it at all. So you know what? Fuck Michael Bay. Guys should stop making movies. It's shit. Alright? Wow, I really swung around on that, didn't I? Swung my own opinion quite quickly. So what do you know about Transformers?
I know, like, watching other people in the playground pretending to become a truck. That's it. That's all I know. I've not... You know this. I've lived under a rock my entire life.
Let's backtrack. Who decided to become a truck? Who tried to become a truck on the playground?
I don't know, my friends or something. How do you do?
How do you pretend to become a truck?
Sound effects.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Like Baron. Actually, no,
that's pretty good.
At first try, I think that was all right. Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know that things become other things.
So Transformers is one of the main reasons. Yeah, yes. Transformers is one of the main reasons why we have Shia LaBeouf, which I guess we have to thank him for, because it kind of facilitated his transition from being a child star to being an action lead and then eventually to a drama lead. Shia LaBeouf, his own problems around. Michael Bay directed The Handmaiden. Yeah, I think those sex scenes would have a lot of Dutch angles in them.
I was next to Shia LaBeouf at Alt J concert. Claim to fame here.
Hanging out with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, it was cool.
Bit scary, man. But yeah, so the Transformers films are just about giant robots, but they increasingly feel like they've lost their focus. I read an interesting article on 538, which is a statistics blog that usually does just politics and sport, but they do breakdowns of movies every now and again, and they were like, at no point in any of the Transformers films has a main lead, like the guy who's top billed on the poster, occupied more than 40% of the film's runtime on screen. Like, and actually, it's getting lower with every movie.
Yeah.
And this one, he's less than 30% of the runtime, right? Despite being top billed. It's just the giant robots rolling around and explosions and stuff.
But that's what it's all about, right?
I think so, but then I was thinking about this in my review. I was like, who is waiting for these movies? Who sees that trailer and goes, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that. I've been waiting there for that for years.
Ooh, another Transformers movie. Fuck yeah.
Just what I wanted. I'll go and book tickets right now this second.
And I'll go and sit on the playground, whatever adults do, and pretend to transform into a truck.
Yeah.
My favourite moment in all the Transformers series, so all the Transformers, right, transform into stuff, yeah? So they transform like a truck or whatever. And so early on he meets, in the first movie he meets like, he finds out that Transformers have been there since like the 1900s because his granddad ran into them in the Arctic, yeah? And I'm like, hang about. Did Optimus Prime transform into a truck when he first arrived on Earth 200 years ago? How did he know what trucks looked like before we knew what trucks looked like? Do we get our idea of trucks from him?
Do you have the X-Files music that you could cue up?
No, I don't. I only have this fidget spinner VT that I don't think we should put on again. Shit, it's fidget spinner live, folks. It's fucking keep it spinning. It's fidget spinner live. Please tell me if this shit posting is too much. Please subscribe. We are desperate. That's good. That was pretty nice. That was a good bit. But yeah, so there's a weird bit in in Transformers 3 where a woman is like basically trying to seduce Shia LaBeouf, which is an interesting concept in its own right. And she turns out to be a transformer. And so she then transforms into a robot, and you're like, hang about. If you can transform into humans, like human facsimiles that are realistic enough to fool Master Seductor Shia LaBeouf, right? Then, like, why have you been transforming into fucking trucks?
Yeah.
Just transform into human beings. It was really fucking weird. I was there being like, hi, Film Gob, how are you? Is it Gob or Job? Yeah, this 538 article was fantastic, partially because it gave me a plot breakdown of the Transformers films I can easily talk about. And I gotta say, I think they were pretty correct. So let's have a look at what is the plot around the leading men of the Transformers movies. The first one, Shia has a car and he likes a girl. Megan Fox.
Tick.
Done. Shia tries to tell the girl he loves her a car helps.
Maybe you should get a car. Maybe it'll help you. I mean, you're doing fine without one, but...
Shia, having been dumped by that girl, tries to get a job in a tough economy.
We've all been there.
There's one of these movies has a transformer that has giant testicles as well. They like swing around. They're like wrecking balls. He's climbing the pyramids, and his balls are swinging around, and you're watching it like.
Too.
Mark tries to raise a daughter past age 17. Mark, vigilante Autobot savior, is the new King Arthur. It's the plot of the most recent film. Yeah, it's just it goes to 1 million. I mean, they left out the dinosaurs who are the dinosaur transformers in Transformers 4. My favourite thing about that was that Michael Bay was like, no, I'm not going to have dinosaur transformers. That's ridiculous. And I'm like, how can you possibly say that and have a straight face, you fucking weirdo? Like, what the hell is your life about? So Transformers may just eventually not have any humans in it at all anymore, because they're planning a cinematic universe spin-off movie starting with Bumblebee, where each Transformer gets his own picture. Fucking all the Transformers aren't worth their own picture in their own right, let alone just like a bajillion of those motherfuckers just climbing around. But yeah, they do a trailer for that movie in the middle of this movie. There's just like 10 minutes of Bumblebee in World War II fucking Nazis up, which is a cool thing. I mean, it's better than is Mark Wahlberg the true descendant of King Arthur? Which
Probably
I can't.
Not.
Yeah, that is what it is. Has my stream just completed? No, it's resuming. Thanks to all those joining us. I'm kind of conscious that this stream is of terrible technical quality, so thanks for sticking around. The last thing I wanted to talk about was what I think is the main emerging trend, apart from cinematic universes, which is bad cameos in films. I was really thrown to watch King Arthur, the other King Arthur movie, where it's not Mark Wahlberg, but it's some boy. And in this movie, guess who cameos in this film? He's a friend of Guy Ritchie's. He's in a King Arthur movie. He's British. He's a man.
I've got nothing.
David Beckham. Significant scene. In fact, one of the most important scenes in the film. David Beckham.
Can David Beckham act?
So he has 4 lines in the film, and the surprising thing is that the film is bad enough that no, you can't tell that he's bad. I think it's mostly shocking that he's in it. I mean, I'm like, huh. But he sort of has actually weirdly like a period appropriate face, I think, in a way. Like he looks like he could be some scrawny little dude in like Our Fury in England.
Yeah.
They do like
I think
shave.
the voice would give him more away quite a bit.
He's a bit more gruff now. He's not like, hello, I'm David Beckham. He feels like he's had a voice coach or something. He's not got that weird squeaky voice shit going on.
I like his squeaky voice.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's cute.
He is cute, but I don't think that's what he wants. He doesn't want to be sweet. What emoji best represents the emotion Booyakasha, what do you think? Oh, that clown is creepy. Oh, everyone looking forward to it. So yeah, the other great shitty cameo that was out this year was someone in Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Who do you think it is?
I know that. What's his face is in it? Johnny Depp, obviously. Kea
Scoliosis.
Who else?
Do I think the Stan Lee cameos are getting more ridiculous? I don't like that they're giving him plots. I think that's really weird. They sort of give him a bit of a plot in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he has a moment to actually talk on screen. And I think that's fucking nuts, if you ask me. I don't know how much longer they're going to do it for. He's filmed a couple of green screen appearances for the rest of the movies upcoming. But he's going to die real soon. He's old. And I've seen him in person at London MTN last year. He's a really old dude. Like, he's frail as fuck. He can't be on a movie set that often anymore. Yeah, I don't know if they were ever that non-ridiculous, so I'm not sure. The one thing that threw me about watching Pirates 5 was Paul McCartney having a plot-centric role and showing up and singing a bit of his song.
There?
And I was there like, who's asking for this? Whose idea is this? Because they had Keith Richards, right, was in the third one.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because Keith Richards was part of the inspiration for Jack Sparrow, right?
Sure.
For the performance. And you're like, okay, all right.
I'll accept it.
Who is interested even in Paul McCartney anymore? Like, what? Who is like, oh, you know
he's
what?
a cool dude, but I wouldn't put Pirates of the Caribbean and Paul McCartney together.
What we're going to do is we're going to try and reboot the show, right? No one's watching these movies anymore. We're going to try and reboot it. All right.
Let's get someone current.
Someone the kids like. Someone they'll recognise instantly in heavy makeup.
Straight away.
It's definitely going to be Paul McCartney.
Perfect.
Oh shit, do you know who else they could have had?
Anyone else?
David Beckham.
Yeah,
David
Beckham.
Would have been better.
You know who does cameos really well? Austin Powers, Goldmember. Great set of...
Who cameos in Goldmember?
So you got like Danny DeVito, I want to say, Cameron Diaz.
Oh yeah, all in like the first 5 minutes. Yeah,
first 5 minutes.
Spielberg. Britney
Straight
Spears.
away. Britney. Beyonce. Fucking
Oh,
Beyonce.
not a cameo though. She's like the main actor. Best cameo appearance ever. Anyone got a best cameo appearance? I've got two. Numero un is Billy Idol in The Wedding Singer. You know Billy Idol? He did White Wedding. Oh little sister, what have you done? So they're like, it's a film set in the 80s, and he's in the last bit. Spoilers for this film that's 20 years old. He's on the this plane trying to like go and get his lost love. He's had to buy a ticket in first class, and he finds out she's actually in economy on the same plane. So they all like, he's told the story of how bad her lover is, and then he's like earned his way into the affections of the aircrew. So they help him out, and Billy Idol, like the guy's trying to run, and then Billy Idol's got like the refreshment trolley, and he's like, not cool, and then like runs the guy down or some shit like that, and it's like,
nice.
That's nice. He's getting involved, you know. He's
Yeah.
having fun. And then also David Bowie in Zoolander.
Yeah, of course.
One of the best, most iconic, because it's just like him being like, oh, ah. They wrote it without asking permission, and then just reached out like, what? And he's like, fuck yeah, I want that shit. I'll do that. I think that's really cute.
I like that.
Anyone else got a favourite cameo? Not a fave?
All bad ones. Bad ones too.
Bad cameo's good. I like that. I think it's New York Mayor. I want to say is in the opening of Airplane. So in the opening of Airplane, there's a taxi driver who basically drops off the guy, and then the guy's like running inside, and he goes, "Keep the meter running," and the guy's like, "Okay, I'll stay here, but you know, I'm not completely happy about it." But basically, the guy every now and again in the movie, right at the end of the movie, I'm just going to restart this anecdote because I got it slightly mixed up in my head. The guy driving the cab is the main character. He drops off the passenger and he says, like, look, I'll leave you there with the meter running, right? And I'll give you a couple of seconds, and he goes. So the passenger stays there for the whole movie. And right at the end, the guy is sitting in the cab. There's like hundreds of dollars on the fare, and he's like, I'll give him another 20 minutes, and then I'm just going to walk, right? And the joke is that the guy who plays that dude is Howard Jarvis, who's an American politician who lowered property taxes in California, right? So he's like fiscal responsibility and limited spending, and he plays this dude. That is so fucking niche. I love that shit. I also like in all the Batman movies, there's been this one like senator. Shit, he's the old guy in the Dark Knight who tries to stop the Joker from attacking the party.
Google it.
Patrick Lee, right? Yeah, Patrick
Yeah.
Lee, Senator Patrick Lee. He's in the animated show as well. Fuck, that's great. So he is in. He's uncredited in Batman Forever. He plays a governor in Batman the Animated Series, and he's in Batman and Robin playing himself. He plays Gentleman at Party in Dark Knight, and he's in Dark Knight Rises as board member 2. Oh, he's in Superman vs. Batman as well.
I didn't see him.
I love that shit. But this guy, he's like, they're like, why do you keep doing it? And he's like, I keep getting re-elected. Just like, I'm just hoping that it's my deal. Yeah, I really like that. I think that kind of stuff is fun. I mean, it's hard to make a cameo work in a... Zoolander 2 is 90 minutes of bad cameos. Good thing I haven't seen it. I liked the Peter Jackson eating a carrot cameo from the second Hobbit film because it was shameless.
You know, I haven't seen... I've watched that film so many times, I haven't seen that.
How not? It's literally right on screen.
I liked the husky that looks at the camera in one of the Hobbit films. It's like a big wide shot. I want to say it's the second or third one.
Okay.
And then right in the foreground there's this dog, and then it just goes...
Turns around and looks at the camera. Oh,
yeah.
oh. Dog actors are really hard, actually, because when you watch The Thing, it's really impressive just how good the little dog actors are in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. The dog is good.
What's that film with the rats that are actually Dachshunds?
It's from a James Herbert novel. It's really fucking funny. Jesus Christ. Why do I always talk about this whenever I do something live? This is the second time this has happened.
Really? It's so good.
That film is Deadly Eyes. It was originally called The Rats. Yes, it's fucking funny as hell. Yeah, guys, if you ever get a chance, watch Deadly Eyes, 1982 Canadian horror film where giant rats are played by Dachshunds, who are just in like rat suits. Yeah, and rats don't walk like Dachshunds.
Dachshunds have a very specific
They walk like
movement.
this.
They seesaw. I've got one.
It's fucking hysterical.
They can't go very fast because they just start to seesaw. So they can trot for a bit, and then they get to a certain speed and they just go. Whoop, 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 whoop.
I love that
It's
shit
lovely.
so much.
It makes it a lot less scary when you realise that they're just cuddly little sausage dogs.
So this is probably a good point to draw the stream to an end. And hey, if you're enjoying this chat about bad cameos, don't forget to check out my Baby Driver Easter eggs video. That was so good, it was like I actually planned it. And folks, please don't forget that the absolute most important thing we've got to do is get more subscribers. We've got Fidget Spinner Live here going. We're fidget spinning all night on the Fidget Spinner Watcher app. If you haven't downloaded that yet, then #NotSpawn. I don't know why that's happened. You've got to do it. I actually can't...
So what are you looking forward to for the rest of this never-ending Blockbuster season?
I've only got 100 fidget spinners at the moment. I reckon I can buy more. Fidget spinner chat aside, what am I looking forward to? The major thing for me next is going to be Spider-Man Homecoming, obviously, which comes out next week. I'm really looking forward to War for the Planet of the Apes. I've actually already seen it, but I haven't done the review yet. I promise you that film was fantastic and definitely worth a watch. One of the best blockbusters of the summer. And one of the best blockbusters in the last 5 years.
Okay.
You seen any Planet of the Apes movies?
No.
They're super good. They're super good. What the fuck? It's so good.
I'm sorry.
I've got them both on DVD. They're literally sitting right here out of shot.
It's true.
They're really cool, but they are like xenofiction. They are films from the perspective of people who aren't human. And it's fascinating. They're really good. And the second movie is, like a third of it is in sign language, because the apes just sign to each other.
Cool.
And this movie, the apes are the majority of the film, so it's just silent and sign language, like, a lot of the time. And you're watching it like, fuck, these are all men, like, who've been CGI'd over into apes. This is nuts. Like, you just forget. And it's just stunning. The rest of the stuff I've recently seen Despicable Me 3, which is another Despicable Me film.
That's all that's to be said about that.
Yep. I want to see It Comes at Night, which is coming out on Friday. I'm kind of excited about that. I think that Cars 3 may prove to be interesting.
Yeah, that trailer.
Yeah, it looks like it might be really intense. I'm not sure. I might go see it in like an art cinema instead. Treat it as if it's like a drama, just to see if that makes me feel differently about it. Dunkirk is going to be great.
Oh yeah.
I feel like can't expect that to be a bad film in any sense. I know that sounds nuts, it's kind of bad reviewing, but hey, fuck you. I have my own opinions and I'll do what I want. And the other film I'm looking forward to seeing is my own when it's done, shooting in September. So we're going to see for that. But we'll talk about that more when everything comes up. So thank you so much for watching, folks. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evenings. And if you're in America, then I think you have more of your day left than we do. So that's how time zones work. And on that note, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye for now.